Southern Valley.
Excuse me, sir.
Please come, Venkatesh.
Thank you, sir. Good
Please
morning,
sit
sir.
down. Good morning. Good morning. Please sit down.
Thank you, sir.
So, am I calling you Venkatesh correctly?
Yes, sir.
You're Venkatesh.
Yes, sir.
So, Venkatesh, we would start with your introduction.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sirs. My name is Banna Venkatesh. I am from Srikakulam district of Andhra Pradesh. My parents are into agriculture. I have done my schooling in Srikakulam up to 10th standard. Then I have done my graduation in electronics and communication from NIT Trichy. I graduated in 2019. Then I worked as a VLSI engineer in Qualcomm for more than 2 years.
Where?
In Qualcomm India Limited.
All right.
It's a semiconductor company. So after that, I have resigned and started preparing for civil services. This is my second attempt and first interviews.
Very good. So, Venkatesh, tell me, Andhra Pradesh has got a very long coastline.
Yes, sir.
How does that coastline help, or how would it help Andhra to improve its economic development, economic situation?
Yes, sir. So Andhra Pradesh got more than 970 kilometers of coastline. So that long coastline provides Andhra Pradesh with huge opportunities. Firstly, the maritime sector. So maritime based development can be the key growth factor for Andhra Pradesh, where fisheries and blue economy can be promoted for regional development, which will help local people gain income and employment. And also the long coastline helps Andhra Pradesh to focus on exports as well. So exports can be focused. For example, Andhra Pradesh is good in agriculture and shrimp sector. So shrimp exports can be done to Southeast Asia and other countries.
So, do you think if Andhra Pradesh harnesses all these possibilities which you have mentioned,
Yes.
it may no longer remain as a special status state? I mean, today it is going time and again to Government of India to declare it as a special state. What do you say?
Sir, post Andhra Pradesh reorganization, Andhra Pradesh lost Hyderabad as a capital city. So it is a huge economic loss for the state. And to compensate that, Andhra Pradesh has demanding special
No, but
status.
Venkatesh, even in 2014, when it was not divided, the then Chief Minister went to the center and said, declare this as a state.
Sir, I am particularly not aware
All right,
of this.
doesn't matter. So let's go to you have your option is geography.
Yes, sir.
So tell me how India's geography has helped India to become Atmanirbhar in agriculture.
Sir, India has around more than 20 agroeconomic regions. So this diversity helps in India to become self-reliant in agriculture. We are major producer of cereals. Today, from a food importer country, we became a net exporter. So this diversity of soils and the climate helps us to produce produce for the domestic demand as well as we cater to the exports. Similarly, we receive plenty amount of rainfall from the southwest monsoon that helps the coastal states and the southern states particularly to be prosperous in agriculture. And also we are blessed with plenty of rivers and river systems where we have fertile deltas particularly.
But Venkatesh, very good. But tell me, even now in pulses and oil seeds, we are still not Atmanirbhar. Is it because of the kind of soil we are not getting, or is it because of a man-made reason that their farmers are not interested to go for these crops?
Sir, yes, today we are not self-sufficient in pulses because there are multiple reasons for that. First, the MSP support which the government offers, particularly for the paddy and wheat, promoted farmers to cultivate those systems. So we became deficient
Very
in
good.
pulses.
Venkatesh, you have mentioned about your experience in semiconductors.
Yes, sir.
Now, my question is, Prime Minister has yesterday or day before only referred to a semiconductor mission.
Yes, sir.
Now in India. Now tell me, it is said that import of semiconductor, if not indigenously produced, would exceed the import bill of oil in the coming years.
Sir, I think Prime Minister is correct in saying so because
Prime Minister has not said this. I
okay.
am referring to Prime Minister's thrust on semiconductor mission, and I am mentioning an earlier press release which said this.
Sir, that statement is makes sense in the current context because of the increasing reliance on semiconductors in every sector, sir. Right from healthcare, education, businesses, industry, everywhere we are increasingly dependent on semiconductors, and increasing dependence on imports is not in India's
So
India's favors.
what are we doing for manufacturing semiconductor indigenously?
So, Government of India launched this India Semiconductor Mission with a focus on domestic fabrication of semiconductor chips. It is actively partnering with the private sector industry. Currently, we have established MOUs, and production facilities are going to be established in states like Gujarat and Assam. So, we are starting on the production front inside the country. We have good design expertise, and we are establishing an end-to-end ecosystem in the country, sir.
My last question, Venkatesh, we have got some Swami Dayanand scholarship.
Yes.
Now, what is Swami Dayanand Saraswati's contribution to India?
Sir, Swami Dayanand is a socio-religious reformer of the Indian independence movement. He founded the Arya Samaj, and also he emphasized on many things. For example, he propounded women equality. He uh, revolted against the caste inequalities and idolatry in the country. He emphasized women's education and children's education. So and Dayanand Anglo Vedic schools that are operated today is one of his visions, sir. So,
Venkatesh, among other things that he did, he also called for Swaraj long before anyone else called for Swaraj. And he said, India is for Indians. Right? So now this CAA which has come, do you think it is against what Swami Dayanand Saraswati called for? Are we making some other country people giving the citizenship of India?
particularly this Citizenship Amendment Act, it is initiated to provide citizenship rights to those people who are persecuted on religious lines in neighboring countries, particularly Pakistan, Bangladesh and Afghanistan. So, I do not think it is against the principles of Swami Dayanand, because the citizenship is given to these communities, for example, minorities like Hindus, Sikhs, Christians, Parsis. So, since they were persecuted in the neighboring countries, we are providing citizenship to them to provide them a dignified life. So, I don't think.
Thank you, Venkatesh. I pass on to our member.
Hello, Venkatesh.
Yes, sir.
We are all in election mode and election mood, and all kind of declarations of candidates being by one party or the other.
Yes.
And you find that there are two blocks, NDA versus India, now called Indi.
Yes.
Do you think that the time has come that we have to have a two-party system?
Sir, I do not think a two-party system is suitable for the country, sir, just because we are a very diverse country. We have regional diversity, we have linguistic diversity, cultural diversity. So, every region tries to protect their interests as a whole within the broader spirit of nationalism. So, multi-party democracy going to stay, and it is the bedrock of our principles.
But Venkatesh, these two, the NDA bloc and the Indi, they have a common consensus program platform. With this kind of a consensus building in up, these parties can always be developed into two-party system.
Sir, I think in the present context, these two blocks have emerged to promote their own interests. So, internal to these blocks, they have multiple varied interests, but as a whole, they try to project their interests.
All right. Now, the quality of the polity here in India, particularly the politics here, is a matter of real concern for all of us.
Yes,
More so that you are an aspiring bureaucrat. In terms of the candidates having a criminal background, the candidates not having the adequate qualification,
yes,
which tends to adversely affect the governance.
yes, sir.
Yeah, do you think that there is a time now, there is a requirement for a change of prescribing education qualification for the candidates, and also putting in changes in the law, wherein you bring in a proviso that anybody having a criminal background or a criminal charge will not be eligible for to contest elections?
Sir, coming to prescribing educational qualification, I do not think it is going to work, sir, because today if we see, the citizens are not going to vote for candidates based on education, first reason. So they vote for their candidates based on certain other factors like their religion, their caste and other status. So I think educational qualification is not going to work. And coming to criminalization of politics, I think we have effective mechanisms in place today. So from Representation of People Act, so once the candidate is convicted of any criminal offence for more than 2 years imprisonment, he is disqualified as a member. So I think institutional mechanisms should be strengthened to save the degrading trend of democracy in the present context, sir.
No, but Venkatesh, an educated candidate could be a populist leader as well. And therefore prescribing an education will in any case not come in its way and being able to convince his constituency.
Get the question.
I said that you said that this was not going to happen because people go in for caste and everything, and that's I said I countered you and said that why can't an educated person be a populist leader?
So there is no bar in that, sir. Educated person can be a leader.
So in case if we bring out an amendment in the act and say that okay, you will have to have a minimum qualification, what's wrong in it?
Sir, I think if we bring educational qualification into context, it is going to take away the chances of people who are not educated for representing their people, sir. So there are many who are not educated, but they have the commitment towards the people. So they are left out of this system. So I think it is going to create.
Okay, so that's your point of argument.
Yes.
Okay, and we continue with the politics today. We also see that some kind of a trend happening. Instead of they may be officially making a stand that look, we are going for a development agenda. But the reality is that it's kind of a polarization take place in terms of the caste, in terms of religion. You think this is what is happening, or this is what we are suffering in Indian politics?
Sir, I think today in the country we are seeing multiple things on a parallel note. One side we are focusing on development. We are going as reaching our target of 5 trillion economy. But on the other hand, unfortunately, we are facing certain challenges. We are having inequalities. We are fighting on communal lines. So I think these needs to be addressed by involving all the stakeholders, in my opinion. So particularly in the election year, since this is an election year, so this communal lines is going to reflect back, and they are going to divide people. So election commission should take proactive measures to make sure that parties or any other candidates don't use caste as a vote bank power.
Okay. Now, my final question coming to you. The code of conduct is in play. It's in action now. What do you understand by code of conduct being in play?
So, code of conduct, which is declared by the election commission, it aims to ensure a level playing field in the elections. So it makes sure that the parties in the power will not get an unfair advantage. They won't use government machinery for propaganda and promotions, so that everyone will have a fair playing field in the elections. No advertisements or no populist schemes will be announced in place, so that the electorate will not be lured into those politics. So it, as a whole, it gives a level playing field to everyone in contesting elections.
Until what time does it last?
I think till the declaration of election results, it lasts.
All right, thank you.
So, Venkatesh,
Yes, sir.
how do you see Andhra after bifurcation? Telangana seems to be doing much better. So, why is Andhra lagging behind after Telangana was created?
Sir, I do not think Andhra is lagging behind, particularly post bifurcation. Both states are growing in their own ways. Particularly coming to Andhra Pradesh is doing well in lot of parameters. Per capita income of Andhra Pradesh has improved from before what it is into 2014, and also Andhra Pradesh is doing good in business opportunities and all. In the ease of doing business rankings, AP has ranked number 1 in the past post bifurcation, given the government's push towards establishing industry and employment opportunities.
So, tell me, industries set up after bifurcation in Andhra?
State of industry.
Industries, how many industries were set up after bifurcation?
So I do not have the actual statistics, but the state is promoting industries at a good rate. We have particularly last year we have investor summit where around 13 lakh crore MOUs have been signed, and once they are realized, it is going to provide a lot of employment opportunities. And also in the state, the cluster level development is happening. So certain clusters are identified. For example, in the Rayalaseema region, electronics manufacturing and IT clusters have been established. In the Nellore region, food processing clusters are there. So cluster based development is happening, and every region is developed.
Venkatesh, startup movement somehow is slowing down now. There are examples of, Baiju, Paytms, and many more. So, what is the reason for slowdown of startups? Where was the failure? Where did the failure lie?
Sir, I think the slowing down of startup movement is attributed to global politics, in my opinion, sir. So particularly post-COVID, particularly COVID has played one factor where economic growth has slowed down across the countries. And also post-COVID, we are facing challenges in geopolitics. We have Israel war happening. We have Russia-Ukraine war happening. So as a result, economic growth has slowed down across the countries and inflation is on the rise. So the startups which has hired a lot of manpower before this slowdown, so they are resorting to layoffs, and also that is going to affect the individuals as well. So as a whole, market is down and economic growth has been stagnant across the countries. So that is one reason.
Don't you think governance was the main issue? Somehow startups lacked good governance.
No, sir,
Only those startups which were backed by good governance survived, and all the startups where governance was the issue, including independent directors, they are not doing well, or they are under question.
So I think it's a mix of reasons in my opinion. So internal governance also plays a factor. For example, in the Paytm case, certain irregularities have been observed, which led RBI to shut down Paytm Payments Bank. And also, I think if you take the India as a whole, government is proactively promoting startups, and I do not see any deficit in the governance. For example, we have Startup India initiative, where we are providing financial and other incentives for promotion
No, I'm
of
not
startups.
talking of government of India's lack. I am talking of governance within the startup.
So I think that actually plays a factor, sir. For example, in case of mass layoffs by startups, so I think they are unable to predict the future. They have in the estimation of,
for example, Byju's. Why did Byju's fail?
sir, I do not know the exact reasons, but I think over expenditure is one of the reasons, sir. So their cost escalations are there, and at the same time, revenue front they are not doing good. So
You are interested in cricket.
yes.
So India has created a record of swords in Test cricket. So can you tell me what is loss to win ratio of India in totality?
Sir, I think the recent series win, it lost to Test race is equal to 1. So we have won as many matches as we lost. So I think we are doing good in the recent times.
That's very good. And symposium called Probe. So tell me, there are number of probe missions going to Sun.
Yes.
So, and let's talk about Aditya L1 mission.
Yes.
What is the purpose of this probe of solar system or Sun?
So this Aditya L1 mission is sent by ISRO to investigate about the coronal sphere of the Sun. So it helps us in many ways. So by studying the activities at the surface of the Sun and at the atmosphere surrounding the Sun, we can estimate the impact of coronal flares or other events happening in the Sun on the satellite systems or the telecommunication systems at the ground level. So we can study the cycles, solar cycles happening at the Sun. That will help us in estimating the climate change and other predictions that we can impact.
All right. One last question I want to ask you is, the color is back in Indian stock market yesterday because of some decision by US federal system. So what is it that was decided by US Fed?
So I think US Federal Reserve has kept its interest rates unchanged yesterday. So I think
Good.
that's a good thing.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So, good morning, Venkatesh. So, you're from Andhra Pradesh.
Yes.
So, tell me the prospects as well as the significance of blue economy in Andhra Pradesh.
Since Andhra Pradesh has a long coastline of 970 kilometers, I think the prospects are very much for Andhra Pradesh to leverage blue economy for economic growth as well as regional development. So, around more than 9 coastal districts are there in Andhra Pradesh. They can leverage this blue economy. They can establish with the support of district administration, food processing industries can be established with focus on exports, so that income can be improved and overall economic growth happens in Andhra Pradesh. But I think better infrastructure has to be created to leverage the prospects, sir, and increased investment is needed in that sectors.
So, Venkatesh, you're a student of geography, your optional subject.
Yes, sir.
So, why India is considered as a subcontinent?
Sir, India is called as a subcontinent because of its vastness and diversity in multiple fronts. We are from Kashmir to cold Himalayas of Kashmir towards hot southern region, and from ranging from biodiversity of Arunachal Pradesh to deserts of Rajasthan. We are very diverse in the climatic sphere, and also coming to the cultural diversity, we have multiple, more than 1,000 languages are there, multiple religions and faiths are followed. So, given this diversity in all these human and physical fronts, it is called a subcontinent.
Okay, good, Venkatesh. What do you understand by industrial corridors? And can you highlight the importance of industrial corridors in India?
Sir, industrial corridors are contiguous regions which are developed by establishing infrastructure facilities, so that decentralization of development happens and balanced regional development happens across the country. So, we have West in the Mumbai Delhi industrial corridor, we have Vizag Chennai industrial corridors. So, across the country we are establishing these corridors, so that we leverage the resources of each region, and that will be utilized for domestic growth as well as export led growth.
Now, coming to international affairs, so India's diaspora. So, talking about India's diaspora, can you highlight the merits and demerits of India's diaspora?
Sir, I think we have both positives and merits of India's diaspora. With 3 million diaspora spread across the countries, diaspora is going to be a driving force for India's growth, in my opinion, sir. With foreign remittances from the diaspora, that will be utilized for catalyzing domestic growth, and also diaspora plays a major role in expanding our soft power across the countries, be it investments or be it negotiating treaties between the countries. Diaspora is going to play a crucial role, and diaspora is also going to create certain challenges for the country. For example, if we take the situation between India and Canada, the Sikh diaspora is there, which is most certain anti-social elements there. They are trying to promote a vested interest against the country in the foreign lands. It is going to create problems for us. So, I think we should be actively engaging with these countries to make sure that the diaspora, the foreign soil is not used for anti-social elements targeting Indians.
Venkatesh, how do you see the relationship between India and Maldives in future?
Sir, unfortunately, with the latest government in Maldives, it is increasingly seen as anti-India and close to China. But given the Maldives in the Indian Ocean region, which is a significant neighbor in our Indian Ocean region, it is important that we maintain positive and good relation with these countries. So, with the larger objective of peace and prosperity in the region, we should maintain better diplomatic relation with these nations. Any differences should be sit together and can be discussed, and solutions can be brought. Sir. Escalating conflict is not in interest of anyone in the regions.
Why India is not doing very well in volleyball?
Well, I think there are multiple reasons for that. First, India, particularly in sports, we are dominated by cricket. So, with more viewership and more focus for cricket. I think other sports are not getting due recognition as they require. And also, I think we are not actively encouraging volleyball as a sport. Maybe at Kalo India and other events we are trying to promote, but it is not getting that recognition as cricket in the country. So I think with better infrastructure and more incentives for players, I think we can promote volleyballs.
And my last question, Venkatesh, why do you wish to come into civil services?
Sir, coming into civil services, I think is because of my personal experience. Sir. So there is an IAS officer in my neighboring village. So he has done a monumental role and in providing getting basic facilities to his village. So he got improved irrigation facilities to his village, banking facilities got to his village. So seeing those things, I realized that civil services give me that opportunity where I can bring about a positive change in the society. It gives me more opportunities than working in an MNC. So because of that, I have started preparing for civil services.
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Venkatesh, anything from your DAF which we may not have touched so far? Any topic? If yes, I can take up that topic if you want.
I do not have anything specific, but I'm open to any question.
No, we have done whatever questions we wanted to ask you, but just giving you an opportunity in case you think that something is left out and you would like me to ask a question. It's okay. So thank you, Venkatesh. We are over with the interview. We'll call you again after a few minutes. Meanwhile, you can wait in the adjoining room. Thank you. Please sit down, Venkatesh.
Thank you. Sir.
So, how did you do in the mocks today?
I think I have answered decently to the questions.
Are you comparing with some previous interviews that you may have given, either mocks or UPSC?
Yes, sir, I think I have given few other marks in the past, but I feel I have improved in my answer delivery when compared to the previous marks.
And this is your first UPSC interview?
Yes, sir.
So, Venkatesh, the panel is very impressed with your performance.
Thank
You
you.
have actually done very decently and in all spheres, very well informed, very good range of knowledge and subjects. And you were able to answer all the questions with a lot of ease and comfort, which shows your confidence and grip
Yes.
on all the subjects.
Thank you. Sir.
And it was not just that you knew about the subject or the question, you were deep into that. You have a deep knowledge in most of the questions. So, Venkatesh, as such, I presently may not have anything to share with you. However, the honorable member will take up in more detail, but I must flag this issue that your answer to why you want to join civil services needs a little reframing, and don't relate it to any person who has been an influencer on you. Keep it in the background. You started with why IAS because you were influenced by some IAS officer who has done something. Now, you should concentrate more on why you selected.
Yes.
And this cannot be a very major reason for, seeing one IAS officer. And suppose
Yes.
if we had seen some police officer or maybe some other person, some doctor, you would have been impressed with the doctor and you would have followed medical line. So, play it down and come out with your own passion for public services, howsoever you may have got influenced. That is your ultimate decision.
Yes.
Your getting influenced about your career has so many influences. Your parents, your teacher, your friends, your sister, your brother, is it not?
Yes, sir.
किस को discuss करोगे? Right?
Yes.
So, that is a common denominator. For any young person like you who is looking for a career, everyone is advised by some or the other one. And every young youngster watches people and decides his or her career.
Yes.
So since the time is very short, you don't have time to give history and your personal, anecdotes and all. The time is to straight away hit the bullseye. Sir, I am fascinated by the public services, and so civil services offers the best platform for going in for public services.
Yes.
And it will give me the satisfaction of reaching out to a large section of people, to try to help them out in all spheres. It will also give me a good career prospect and greater satisfaction in life. I've just touched 3-4 points. Does it sound good?
Yes, sir.
Reframe it. All right.
Thank
So
you.
that is the only thing I thought I should advise you. Otherwise, you're very good. Excellent, I would say.
Thank you, sir.
Venkatesh, I found you to be a excellent candidate with
you.
all kind of attributes or traits to be a good civil servant. You were logical. You had that rationale in giving your answers. But there are two observations I need to make.
Yes.
When you have to have a difference of opinion with the panelist, uh, be slightly modest in coming out. When I put in a question and then I reiterated and I said, countered it, that why can't an educated politician be a populist leader? But you were sticking on to your guns. So you could have moderated it in a way, in a more balanced answer, like, look, sir, it's a welcome move. We can always think of having some kind of a qualifications. However, I feel that these are the reasons because there are a lot of people who may be a good social worker, but not an educated person who would do better. And then you come out and build up your answer. So that was one thing I thought I'll just tell you. So you would have there would be opinion based questions coming on to you, where so therefore you balance out your question and then come out with your arguments
Yes.
with of course slash rational and logic and with authenticity. Secondly, I found your body language slightly, you could add more marks if you're giving smile and trying to connect with all the panelists. You confine only to one at a time at each other. So therefore, as and when you have a time when you are done with your question and answer, then you could probably look around and try to connect with the other panelists because it's assessment of the panel, it's not one person. So that was only two observations. Otherwise, you're a good candidate, excellent candidate.
Thank you, sir.
So Venkatesh, very good personality.
Thank you, sir.
So this smile that you are giving now, this was missing. So be confident, and that confidence comes out of the smile. That brings out the communication. So once you smile and you are receptive, then panel also feels like conversing more.
Yes, sir.
So that is one. Honorable member brought out a very important aspect. When question is being asked, so normally 90-10 ratio is maintained. 90% with the person asking the question and just glance around. So that is number two. Your replies on Andhra was excellent. Number of industries have come up. So to be precise, in last almost 5 years, more than 300 major industries have come up in Andhra. So just catch up on the figures.
Yes.
When you talked of ease of doing business, when you talked of industries. So you should know Andhra in little more detail.
Yes.
You did mention about growth of Andhras. Startup failure lies with the governance of the startups. So this is what happened in Paytm despite RBI. This is what happened in Byju's.
Right.
So one factor you were right, but second factor was poor governance. And board of director consisting of only people who say yes to the management instead of looking after the stakeholder. So read more on reasons why startups are lagging behind now.
Yes, sir.
Cricket, you were good. Aditya Mission, you were good. And US Fed rate, you were on the dot. Wish you all the best. Very
Thank
good.
you, sir.
Good personality.
Thank you, sir.
So, Venkatesh, you were able to cover most of the areas pretty well. So, you are overall good in content. So, I'm sure you will do well. And with certain modifications and a bit of smiling disposition, you will definitely score higher. One more advice which I would like to give it to you, seeing the video, you need to correct your sitting posture. The way you are sitting now is more like a student. So, go a bit back. Yes, no. Now keep it like this. Like this is better.
This is better.
Now see in the video also, then you will understand.
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, you have done well. Okay, wish you all the best.
Thank
Tie
you.
is not going. Your tie is looks very, very bright.
Okay.
All right.
Could I
And
change
crumpled.
this?
Maroon color would be better.
Plain ज़्यादा अच्छी है, but then this
Very
looks
shiny.
shiny. This
Sure,
looks
sir.
more shiny. So if you have a more sober tie.
Sure. I will order a different one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Venkatesh, any questions from you?
So I don't have any specific questions. I will work on the suggestions and I'll try to
No,
improve.
Venkatesh, you are very bright. Just bring, there has been advised by other members, you must bring some cheerfulness. Don't be very defensive. You're very good. You know, express more confidence by way of like the way you are behaving now.
Yes.
You know, during the interview, you know, everyone has butterflies in his stomach, but those who are not so well informed and well read, you know, they may have more. So you should not worry about it and go in a more confident manner and sit inside.
Yes.
You should not feel, oh, I am not so good. Have a lot of faith in yourself because you're good.
Thank you.
So we have given you 68%, Venkatesh.
Yes.
This is one of the highest categories that we, you know, this number is very high from our perception and from UPSC's perception. It would mean almost
187 marks.
187 marks.
Yes.
So you are that good.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you, sir.
And yes, the act of putting your buttons back has to be discontinued. We did not, no panel would like Venkatesh that you, after you finish your interview, go just like that.
Okay. Sir.
Don't put on the button in front of the panel when everything is done. So you are making everyone wait for your buttoning up. It is not part of the ritual or the courtesies. It is rather discourteous.
I can just go away.
Yes, yes. You are wasting the panel's time
Sure. Sir.
by buttoning up. This is how you should see it. Otherwise, you will not adopt our advice.
Sure,
You will wonder because many people tell you, no, you should button up and then go away. Is it not?
That's what I have seen. So
You have seen in many places.
You should have seen on YouTube. Did you see it on YouTube?
somewhere on YouTube.
Anyway, but
I don't remember.
But if
No,
you
not
find
that.
our point logical, then you discontinue. If you don't find it logical, you do whatever you think is good for you.
Sir, do you have any comments on this where he addressed both Namaste and Good Morning?
Yes, even namaste is not required. Just
that's
start
what I
with
said.
good morning.
Yes.
Don't be extra courteous also. Be normal. Do as the people do. In that particular act, I will say do what the Romans do. But in this case, if everybody is doing it, it is not a good thing to button up in front of the panel and wasting their time. It looks a little indecent.
Sure, sir.
So keep that in mind and decide.
Yes. Sir.
It will not fetch you more marks if you button up in front of them.
I will.
While you came in the feedback session also, your buttons were open. You forgot to close them.
I just.
So
intentionally
that is the right way to enter also. In our opinion, that is the right way to enter also. Come like this only and you can go like that only. So this is our advice.
Thank you. Sir.